Okay, so again, I'm going to start from, let me say, you are still the only student. So again, I just starting the recording again. So start from beginning. Just hoping the other student may come. But again, so as we said earlier, again, the main objective of this lecture is going through the implementation of loops using, again, Java language. And we talk about this problem. The problem we have here is that we want to print system.out.println 100 times. We're writing the statement 100 times is a lot of, again, time to consume a lot of time. So the best way to solve this problem is by using a loop or loops. So the main advantage of using loop, or the main reason why we use loop, is anytime we want to do something over and over again, the main, instead of writing the same statement or expressions over again, we write the expressions only once, and we use the loop to execute it based on the condition, how many times we want. Okay. In this case, we want welcome to Java to be print out on our screen 100 times. So we start our loop counter from 0. Then we have the condition that if the count value is less than 100, then we print welcome to Java. Then we increment the count value by 1. So this means we start from 0. Is 0 less than 100? Yes. Then we print welcome to Java. Then we increment the counter from 0 to 1. Is 1 less than 100? Yes. Then we print again, welcome to Java. We increment it to 2, 3, etc. So this will allow us to print welcome to Java 100 times. Because from 0 to 99, the condition will be true. Then when we increment to 100, is 100 less than 100? No. And the loop will terminate. So again, as we said, our main objective is how to implement the concept of loops. We start with the while loop first, using Java language. Then also we shall go through do while loop, and then for loop. So with while loop, we can have it as a counter control loop, which we know how many times the loop will execute. But also we can use the Sentinel value to determine when the loop will stop. So using a Sentinel value means we don't know how many times the loop will execute, but anytime we enter the Sentinel value, the loop will stop. And the difference between while and do while loop is that, again, with do while loop, we have to do something first. So at least our statement will execute once before the condition will be checked. So sometimes we may have a condition from beginning, the condition is false, then the loop will not execute at all if we are using while loop. By the do while loop, at least the loop will execute once before we check the condition. Then we also have the for loop. For loop is 100% counter control loops. We cannot use a Sentinel value to control a for loop. So anytime I know how many times my loop will execute, I can just use for loop straight. And while loop, we can use the Sentinel value to control it. So we start with the while loop. And this is our flow chart. Actually, we went through this in the lectures. So we have a condition here saying that if the condition is true, so while loop continuation condition, if the condition is true, then the loop body will execute. All the statements in the loop body will execute. So the syntax again is using the keyword while, and all the characters are lowercase. Then we have a parenthesis open and close, and we have our conditioning. Now, if the statement or the body of the loop is only one statement, then we don't need a curly brace. But if we have more than one statement, then we put it in a curly brace to create a block of the statement. So the flowchart here tells us we are coming from the top, execution starts from the top. So first we check the condition. If the condition is true, we are going to execute our statements or the loop body. Then we go back again. Then we check the condition again. If it's true, we keep executing. If the condition is false, then we come out of the loop. So we have an example. This is the starting of the problem. Here we want to print welcome to Java 100 times. So we can see the flowchart. We initialize our count variable to 0. So which means we are starting from 0, the condition. So our condition is if 0 is less than 100, if it's false, then come out of the loop. If it's true, then print welcome to Java. Then we have the count plus plus. And we talk about the increment operator. So this will increment our value by 1. Then we go back and check again. Is 1 less than 100? Yes. Then we print. We increment to 2. Then we go back and check again. Until our condition is false, then we come out of the loop. So this is the trace program. So first again, we initialize our counter, always while loop, unless you are using a Sentinel value to control your loop, which we shall go through that. This is a while loop, but it's a counter control loop. We know how many times the loop will execute. So we initialize the counter first. For example, I can start from any value I want to. I can start from 1, I can start from 10. But for example, if I start from 1, then if I want the statement to execute 2 times, then I'll say why the count is less than 3 or less than and equal to 2. Here the loop will execute 2 times, welcome to Java 2 times, because we start the counter from 0. Is 0 less than 2? Yes. Then we print welcome to Java. We increment 0 to 1 by using the increment the operator. Now next we have 1. Is 1 less than 2? Yes. So we print welcome to Java. Then we increment the count variable from 1 to 2. Is 2 less than 2? No. So we stop the loop. So this means welcome to Java will again execute twice. Now I can start the counter from 5. And I'll say count is less than 7. And that will also allow me to print twice. So the initialization, normally by convention, we normally start from 0 or 1. So let's see the trace. So first we initialize our count variable. Then we check the condition. We initialize it to 0. So the first we check, is 0 less than 2? Yes. If it's true, then we're going to print welcome to Java. Then we increment the counter by 1. Then we're going to check now, is 1 less than 2? Yeah, it's still true. So we print welcome to Java. Then we increment the counter to 2. Now is 2 less than 2 is false. So if that is false, then we need to, again, come out of the program. So here we will come out of the, we come out of the loop and continue. So we exit the loop. So here we have some problem here. Here we are going to repeat addition until we get the correct answer. So this is like a quiz program. We may have 2 numbers and they will tell us to enter the answer. If the answer is correct, we come out of the program. If the answer is wrong, we keep trying. So we went through this program once before, but that was not a loop. We use the if selection. If the answer is correct, then we write print correct, otherwise print incorrect or wrong. But that program allows us only to test or to answer the question once. Now, loop will make it possible for us to try it as much as we want based on the loop condition. So here we have addition quiz.java, which gives a program that prompts the user to enter an answer for a question on addition of 2 single digits. Now, using a loop, you can now rewrite the program to let the user enter new answer until it is correct. Previously, as we said when we go through the selection statements, user is allowed to enter only answer once. If the answer is correct, we print correct. If it's wrong, we print it's wrong, that's it. But this time, the loop will make it possible for us to keep answering the question to get it right. So here again, we are going to get an input. So we need either input using the keyboard, or in this case, input using the random function. Random function means it's going to generate the 2 input for us. But still, we need the scanner class because later, user is going to enter the answer. Now, if I'm going to enter only the input, I need to generate a random number as input. I don't need to use any scanner object. We don't need it. But the reason why we are using scanner object right now, because user is going to enter the answer. So we need a scanner object. So we import the scanner object again. This program, the main file name is repeat addition quiz. So that's the name of our file. As we said earlier, we have our main function. Now here we have the 2 input statements. We declare 2 variables, num1 and num2. And we use the random function to again generate those 2 random numbers. Random method belongs to the math class. When you are using a math class, we don't need to import any package because the math class belongs to the java.lang package, which is java.language package. But that package is automatically included in our program for us, so we don't need to import it. And here we can see that when we use the random method, we say multiply by 10 because the random function normally generates numbers between 0 to 1. So it can be any value within that. Now, when we say multiply by 10, it means we can generate a random number from 0 to 10. So those are the 2 numbers we generate, num1 and then num2. Again, this number can be any random numbers. Now we create our scanner object, we name it input. Again, the reason why the user is going to enter the answer. So here we already generated the 2 numbers. So now we have instruction saying that what is the first number generated plus the second number generated. What is the answer? So we use the input object with the next int because the data type is int. And also the answer variable where we are going to keep our answer, the data type also is int. So we use next int. So this statement will allow us to enter our answer. So we have our input, and then we do our process, and we enter the answer. So the answer here will be addition of 2 numbers. So now we are saying that why number 1 plus number 2 not equal to the answer. So here let's say we enter 2 and 3. Then if we say what is 2 and also plus 3, what is the answer? We say the answer is, let's say 5. So we come here, then we say why 2 plus 3 not equal to 5. then we are going to ask the user to enter the number again. So here, the user is going to enter the answer again until you get it correct, because this condition have to be false in order to come out of the loop. Then we print, you got it. So 2 plus 3 not equal to 5. The condition is false. If this condition is false, then we come out of the loop. Then we have the right answer. Now, if we say 2 plus 3 equal to 10, then the condition here is true. So we're going to tell the user wrong answer. Try again. What is the number 1 plus number 2? User entered. So I'm going to give you a few seconds to look the code if any question. Today we have only you in the class. Okay, so if no question, let's continue.
No questions.
Okay. So there's another program again. Here we are going to guess these numbers. They will give us some number. Then we guess what was the, again, we're going to use the random method to generate the number. Then we guess the number if we get it right or wrong. So here they say, write a program that randomly will generate an integer between 0 to 100. Inclusive means 0 is included, 100 is included also. So between 0 to 100. Now, what this program will do is that it will prompt the user to enter a number continuously. So just guessing it until the number matches the random generated number. Now, for each user input, the program tells the user whether the input is too low or too high. So this kind of a hint. So let's say the number generated was 7. The user enter, let's say 20, it will tell the user that the number you enter is too big. So this means I don't have to worry from numbers from 21 to 100 no more. So I'll look for numbers between 0 to 19, just guessing. Next time I enter, let's say 14. Well, 14 is still too big than 7. So it will tell me, no, it's too big. So again, keep doing that. Hopefully we can get the number right. So this means the loop here will be also using a Sentinel value. So let's see how this works. So since we are going to tell the user to enter the number, then after we generate the number, it's going to guess it. So you have to enter a number. We still need a scanner class to create our scanner object. So here again, our main file name or the main class is guess numbers 1 time. So guess number 1 time, here we are not using, if you guess it once and you got it correct, that's it. If you get it wrong, it will tell you it's wrong. That's it. So you can see that down here, we are not using no loop. We just want to see the difference between the two. So again, we have our main method, we generate our, so here you can see that we are using our random method multiplied by 101, which means we're going to generate numbers from 0 to 100. Any number, single one number between 0 to 100. Previous program multiplied by 10, which means we generate a number between 0 to 9. 0 to 9. If it's 11, then any number between 0 to 10. Sometimes also we can specify, when we say multiply by 100 or 101, automatically we start from 0. But we can also, we'll see an example whereby I'll say, okay, I want to generate the numbers between 5 to 20. So in this case, I cannot say multiply by 21, otherwise it will give me from 0 to 20, but I need 5 to 20. So there's a way to write that. Okay, so this program again, here we are generating the random number. Then we store the number in a variable name number. Then here we have the scanner object. Our scanner object again is input. And after we create our scanner object, now we can use it to enter our input, which is right here. We declare variable name guess. The data type is int. And when we enter the input, it will go to the guess. Then, excuse me. Then from there, we can start to again check if the number we enter, the guess number we enter, is the same as the number generated. So here we say if guess equal to the number, then we got it right. Yes, the number is whatever number it was. Else, if the guess is greater than the number, then we say that the number we guess is too high or is too low. So those are the three possible outcomes. We generate a number and we guess the number we generated. Either the number is equal to the guess, the number we entered, or the number we entered is greater than the number generated, or the number we entered or guessed is less than the number generated. So wait for a few seconds. If no question, then we can see if we can run this program. Let's do the animation here. So again, as we said earlier, execution always starts from the main function. Execution always starts from the main function. So now we don't know what number the program is going to generate now the number for us. The number is between 0 to 100. Here they say what would be a possible integer for number after this statement is executed. Enter the smallest possible number, the space, and then the largest possible number. So 0 will be the possible smallest number, and space, and 100 will be the next possible numbers. We click OK. So here they say you are correct. Now, if I want to generate number between 0 to 99, as I said, then I'll say math.random times 100. So that means from 0 to 99. So the computer generated the number for us. The number it generated was 92. So next, they are going to ask us to enter our input. Now they say guess a magic number between 0 to 100. Now they say we should enter our guess number. So I'm going to enter, let's say 45. And I'll click OK. So now when I click next, it's going to check. This statement is false. Is 92 equal to 45? No, that's false. I need to go and check which line will be executed after this line. Yeah, the next line that will be executed, we are skipping 16 because 16 execution is for if the condition is true, then line 16 will execute. Now we need to check the next condition. So line 17 will execute. Yeah, they say you are correct. Now we check this condition. The statement tests it and it's false because 92 is greater than 45. And our condition is checking if 45 is greater than 92. So the condition is false. I'll click next again. Which line will be executed? Well, since this is false, line 18 will not execute. So the last option now is line 20. The possible three answers we can get when we guess a number is either the numbers they are the same, or one is greater than the other, or one is less than the other. So since we checked the two already, the last one, we don't need a condition no more. So that's the default. So line 20 will execute. And they say you are correct. And this time we are going to print your guess is too low. So you can see that in this program, there's no option to enter second guessing until you get it right. So we are not using no loop here. We are using selection statement. Wait for a few seconds. If no question there, let's try the next one. So guess number one time is what we did. Now let's try the next one. Here you can see that we are using a while loop now. So it's a very good one. If the number we check is not equal to the guess number, that is if the number we generated is not equal to our guess number, then we just have to keep entering the number. Keep entering. So let's go through this program. Again, we are using the scanner class because user is going to enter an input. So we need a scanner object. We have our main class, which is the guess number. We have our main method where execution starts. First, we generate a random number between 0 to 100, again, the same statement. Then we create our scanner object, which is called the input. We give an instruction that gets a magic number between 0 to 100. So you are going to enter the guess number. But first, we start with the guess number equal to -1. Why do we use -1? It's kind of like a Sentinel value, but why do we use -1? Because we know the number you are going to generate is between 0 to 100. So if beginning is -1, then again, it means our condition here will always be true, because -1 is not equal to any number between 0 to 100. So this is kind of like a Sentinel value we are using for the while loop, to control the while loop. So first we ask the user to enter his guess number. The user entered the guess number. We check the condition here now. If the number entered is correct, the guess equal to the number, then we print our statement. If the guess number we enter is greater than the random number generated, then we say it's too high. Otherwise, we say it's too low. Then we end the loop. So let's run this and see if no question. Again, if you have a question, you can interrupt me at any, you can start to speak, I will keep quiet. So we start our animation. So the first thing, again, execution will start from the main function, as we said. Here, they are telling us that what will be the possible integer value, the same answer we have before. So it's 0 and 100. And now they generate a random number. The number is 4. And then we create our scanner object. We give instruction on the screen, gets a magic number between 0 to 100. Then the statement, first of all, will assign the guess number to -1. So with -1, always the while loop will execute. Because a number, as we said, a number between 0 to 100 is possible. There's no -1. So the statement tests if guess number equal to, of course, it's always going to be true case. So now we can go inside the loop. So now they say what line will execute after the line. So here we are going to prompt the user to enter So the line 14 will execute. Why? Because the condition here is true. -1 always not equal to number, because the number we generate is from 0 to 100. So again, I will say line 30 will not execute. Line 13 is just a comment. So line 13 is a comment. It will not execute. So line 14 will execute. And they say we are correct. And line 40 will tell us to enter your guest number. And then the next execution, which is line 15, we are going to enter an integer to guess. So let's say we enter any value here. Let's enter 50, since they say from 0 to 100. And we click OK. So the statement received, instead of -1, it becomes 50 now. Then we are going to check if 50 equal to 4, the statement is false. So we skip line 18, will not execute. Then we check the statement again is false here, because the guess, no, sorry, this is true. The guess number is 50 and the number is 4. So is 50 greater than 4? Yes. So this means your guess is too high, we'll print. So print your guess is too high. Then we come back here. The statement tells if guess not equal to number. If this is true, which line will be executed again? The same line we said before. So for this time, we are not checking with -1 no more, because we enter 50. So we are checking with 50 now. So is 50 less than and not equal to number true? So we print the next statement, which is enter your guess number, enter your guess again. Then this time I want to enter the correct number, so I'm going to enter 4. And we'll say the next line we're going to check is 4 equal to 4, yes. Here they say, and let's move it up. Yes, the number is 4. So then we have to come back. Again, remember this is a Sentinel value, as we said. So if you don't enter -1, then this code will be executing forever. So let's try now to enter. Here we say, if we don't enter any number, if we enter -1, -1 not equal to number, it's true. The goal here is that since now we have 4 equal to 4, we are going to check this condition. Is 4 not equal to 4? That's false now. So let's say they say which line will be executed after this. So why 4 not equal to 4, which is false? Who can tell us what line will execute? Who can tell us quick? Remember, here is a while loop now. Always, if this condition is true, we go inside the while loop. But this time the condition, we started with -1, and we saw that -1 not equal to the number that was generated, which was 4. Since -1 not equal to 4, the condition is true. We went inside the loop and do something. We asked the user to enter a number. Actually, the user entered, I think, 50. And when we check with 50, 50 was greater than the guess number. So your guess is too high, was executed. Then we check with 50. Is 50 not equal to the number? It's true, it's not equal. So we're still inside the while loop. Next, we enter 4. And when we enter 4, the first statement executed. Yes, the number is 4. So the guess value becomes 4. Now is 4 not equal to 4? The condition is false. And now the question is asking which line will be executed after this line. So the line that was executed, I'm going to say is 24 because we are coming out of the loop. When your loop condition is false, you cannot go inside the loop no more. You have to come out. So let's say when we come out, we will see 24. And here they say you are correct. Again, always we should remember, when your condition is true, you go inside the loop and do whatever you're supposed to do. When the condition is false, we need to come out of the loop. And that will be the end of this program. Okay, so let's continue. So here also we have another program here. They say an advanced math learning tool. So here we are going to write a program that's a math subtraction learning tool program. It will generate just one question for each run. You can use a loop to generate questions repeatedly. Again, this example gives you a program that generates 5 questions and then report the number of the correct answers after students answer all the 5 questions. So this means we have to use a loop also. So let's see this question. So again, since we are going to enter the answers, we need to again have our scanner object. So we have our main class name, and we have our main method. Then we create a variable named number of questions. It's a constant variable. So in Java, when you declare variable constant, you use the keyword final. And anytime you declare variable constant, you need to initialize it. So here we initialize it to 5. Now the good thing with a constant variable is that if along the way I use this constant variable, let's say 10 times in my program, and I want to change the number of questions to, let's say, to 20, I don't need to go through all the places that I use the number of questions variable, but I'll just come here and change the value here to 20, which means automatically anywhere I use the constant variable number of questions, they're all going to be changed to that amount. So that's one of the advantages of using, again, constant variable. So here we initialize it to 5. One thing also we should remember, anytime we declare constant variable, we need to initialize it to some specific value. Then also we have a correct count variable. This will count the number of correct answers. So we initialize it to 0, make sure there's nothing inside. Then we have a variable named count. We also initialize it to 0. This will count the number of questions we have. So count, correct count, we count how many questions we got correct after the 5 questions. And the count will tell us the number of questions we reach. Let's say if it's count 0, it means we haven't answered the question yet. When count become 1, means we answer the first question, 2, 3, 4. Since we start from 0, we are going to end it at 4 because from 0 to 4 will be 5 questions. Also, we are going to use the program system, time system. So the variable or the method first, the method current time millis. This will generate the actual time of your computer. And we're going to put it in a variable named start time. So we generate the system time at the moment, at the present time. So that will be our start time. Then we also have a variable declared as a string. And this will output string is initially empty. Okay. We declare the variable name output, it's a string. It's initially empty because we can see the double quotation, there's nothing. So we initialize it. So next we generate our scanner object, which is called input again. Now we are going to use the while loop. Here we need up to 5 questions. And what make it for us to get the 5 questions is this constant variable. Remember the count start from 0. So as we said earlier, if we are starting from 0 and we need 5 items, then we shall go from 0 to 4. And that's what we are doing here. So the while loop, start from 0 less than 5. If 0 is less than 5, it's true. Okay, if that's true, then generate your 2 values. We are generating a number between 0 to 9. We multiply by 10, the random. So we generate 2 values between 0 to 9. We put those 2 values in the 2 variables, num1 and num2. Again, we cannot put 2 values in 1 variable. Each variable must have its own content. So we have 2 numbers. And this is our first question now. So here, when we generate the 2 numbers, we said that if number 1 is less than number 2, we want to swap it, which means we always want to get a positive answer. So for example, if the user enter, or in this case, sorry, we are using a random variable. So if the random number generated first is 10, and sorry, this is 0 to 9. The first number generated, let's say, is 8. And the second number generated is 9. Then we have to swap it because 8 minus 9 will give us a negative answer. The goal here is that we want to get a positive answer. So we said, okay, if the first number we had is less than the second number, which means number 1 minus number 2 will be negative answer. We want positive answer, so we swap it. So how do you swap in Java? You create a third variable. Here we call it a temp. Because if I have num1, num2, and I swap and I put num2 into num1, then num1 value will be deleted, to be deleted. So what we need to do is that we put the num1 value in a third variable, which we declare as a temp. So I put the num1 value into the temp. Then I can put num2 value into num1. Then num1 value is in temp. Now I can put the temp value into num2. So that's swapping the 2 values. Okay, so this will make sure that and the answer we are getting will be a positive answer. So now we're going to prompt the user to answer the question now. It's number 1 minus number 2, what is the solution? So here we say, what is num1 plus num2? Enter the answer here. Then we're going to grade the answer and display the result. Now, if the number num1 minus num2 equal to the answer, then you got it correct. So we increment the correct count. Remember, we said the correct count will be the variable that will count how many questions we get correct. Now, if the condition here is false, then we are not going to increment the count. Rather, we are going to say your answer is wrong. And then we give the correct answer. So we say your answer is wrong. Number 1 plus number 2 should be whatever you think is correct, number 1 minus number 2. Then we increment the count. Now, when we increment the count, we're going to assign, remember this is the output variable. We declare this variable as a string. So we are attaching output plus equal, means the beginning, the output is nothing, it's empty. So first thing we get, new line, num1 minus num2 equal to the answer. Then we check num1 minus num2 equal to the answer, either is correct or wrong. Remember, we talk about this in the selection statement. Question mark is when you have the question, the answer correct, then the column when it's wrong. When this condition is true, the statement after the question mark will execute. When this condition is false, the statement after the column will execute. So remember, we are still inside the loop. So we have to go back, and then we will repeat the same thing over again. So I'm going to wait for a few seconds if any question. Otherwise, we go one more time. Here we have to go 5 times. So it's like I'm going to repeat the same thing 5 times. So we went up to here. Remember this, then we're still inside the loop. We increment the counter. So we are going to check the counter start from 0. So we increment it to 1. Is 1 less than 5? Yes. So we have to do the same thing all over again. There's 2 options again. Either the answer will be correct or it will be wrong. So if the answer is correct, then we are going to execute this statement and increment the counter. We got it correct. Same thing, if the first value is less than the second value, we still need to swap. So again, we go through this exactly 5 times and the same thing. So let's try the animation. Actually, this code doesn't have no animation. This will show the line. We really don't need the line. I cannot compile this live. It doesn't work. Oh, it works. Okay. So here I'm going to compile this program. And when we run it, it's already generated. They say enter input data for the program. So the sample data they enter is what is given here. So we generate 2 numbers. We find the differences. What will happen is that when you are compiling, it's not like an animation. So you can see that when I compile only 1 time, the program will generate whatever results we have. So if no question, I'm going to click the answer here. And this will give us the coding. Again, compiling, it generates the input already for us. So we can see the answers here. So the first input, the numbers that was generated was 9 and 7. And the answer we entered was 5, as you can see the 5 here. So 9 and 7, 5, the answer is wrong. And they say the answer should be 2. Then we generate 2 numbers again, 3 and 2, and we write 6. That's wrong again. 5 and 1, we write 7. That's wrong again. 8 and 6 should be 2. We say 8. That's wrong again. 8 and 4 is 9. We say it's wrong. So this means all the answers were wrong. All the 5 answers we generate were wrong. The correct answer again, count is 0. And the test time is 0 seconds. Again, we have the system.current time mills. This will give you the current time in milliseconds, and it will be end time. Now, how long you generate the number during your compiling process, it will give us the end time minus the start time. So the start time, let's say it was 9:20, and we keep running the program, generating number answer. The end of the time was 9:22. So we find the difference of 9:22 minus 9:20, and it will tell you. In this case, again, it's generated very quick for us randomly, the system generated, so we didn't spend any much time. Okay, so if no question, let's keep going. So as we said earlier, there's a way also that we can write the while loop using the Sentinel value. And actually we saw the example already with the entering the correct answer, the guessing numbers. So let's see how this works here. Actually, we can see this program also. So this is our Sentinel value here. It's data not equal to 0. So 0 is our Sentinel value. So this means this program will do something. It will do it over and over again. This here we are doing the sum. So we are summing the values that the user enter. But anytime the user enters 0, we are going to stop. Then we print the current sum that we have. So let's go through this code also. So again, here we are using the scanner class because the user have to enter some value using the keyboard. We have our main class, Sentinel value, that's the name of the file. Then we have our main method. Then our first execution is to create our scanner object named input. Then from there, we are going to read an initial data. So we ask the user to enter an integer. Then input ends if it is 0. So 0 is will be our Sentinel value. So here we enter an integer. Let's try 0 and we'll see what we are trying to say here. So we enter 0. Now the next question says keep reading data until the input is 0, but we already entered 0, so see what will happen. We are going to execute the sum variable. Here we saw that the sum variable content is 0. Then when we go to the while loop here, we say the loop condition, the loop continuation condition, data not equal to 0 is tested. It is false. In this case, the loop is finished. So since 0 not equal to 0, the condition is false. The loop will not execute at all. So now they are asking us which line will be executed after this line. We have to come out of the loop. So line 24, there's nothing. Line 25 will execute. So we write 25, and we are correct. So in this case, again, the Sentinel value is 0. That controls the loop. Now we can reset it and try one more time. So this time I'm not going to enter 0, I will enter any value, let's say 5. Sum is 0. So now we say is 5 not equal to 0? Yes, it's true. Okay, if that's true, then the line 17 will execute. You had the beginning sum again is 0. So you are going to add 0 to the value you enter, which is 5. So line 17 will execute. And our answer for sum now will be 5 because 0 plus 5 is 5. Now they are telling us to enter our second value. If we enter 0, the loop will stop. Let's enter 8. And you see that our sum will change to 13. So first we check, is 8 not equal to 0? Yes. Then let's add it, 17. And we should get 8 plus 5 is 13. So any number we had, if it's not 0, it will add to the sum variable. And this time I'm going to enter 2. Now we check, is 2 not equal to 0? Yes. So if that's the case, line 17 will execute again. And that will give me 20. No, sorry, 15. 2 plus 13 is 15. Now I'm going to enter 0 now. So we still need to check the condition. So here we check, is 0 not equal to 0? That's false. So we have to come out of the loop. So line 25 will execute, and line 25 will give us the last sum. So the sum is 15. So we'll see our output saying again, the sum is 15. The sum is 15. So that's the whole concept of a Sentinel value. Sentinel value always control how many times the loop will execute. The previous one we'll do was called the counter control loop. And we initialize the counter, let's say to 0. We say we go up to 10. That means the loop will execute 11 times. We are telling the loop how many times it will execute. Okay, so I think that's enough. If no question. What I'm doing. Now here they say there's a caution given to us here. This is very important. It doesn't matter what type of loop. Always when you are writing a loop, make sure that your counter variable, the variable you are using to determine how many times the loop is running, use a whole number. Do not use a decimal value because of the precisions. For example, I may have 9.1, 9.11, 9.112. So the number of execution is not guaranteed. And sometimes also, for example, here they say no guarantee item will be 0 because I may get 0.9, like here 0.9, 0.8, 0.1. The next cannot be 0.0 because unless we really, but again, it's very tricky. But you can have 0.001, 0.0000. So it depends on the number of precision. The number of precision also is determined by the variable type. For example, if you are using a floating data type as a float, the number of precision is 7. Now, if you are using as a double, the data type double, the precision is 15. Well, that's too much. I mean, you're going to generate too much values. So here I said, don't use floating point. Floating point means decimal values for equality checking in a loop. Since floating point values are approximation for some values, using them could result in imprecise counter values and also inaccurate results. So always consider to use a whole numbers, integer. So this example given to us, now there's no guarantee that we may even reach 0, especially if you are using double. Double is 15 decimal places, and that's a lot. And now you don't know your result. If I need 4 decimal places or 2 decimal places, the result may be different. So this is just a caution. We shouldn't use decimal values when we are doing loop. So next will be the do while loop. And then again, the difference, as we said, between while loop and do while loop is that we can see the flow chart here. A statement has to be executed once before we check the condition. With while loop, we check the condition first, then we execute our statement. But we do while, you always execute your statement first before you check your condition. So when I execute the statement first and I check the condition, if the condition is false, I'll come out of the loop. Already, at least it has been executed once. So sometimes we may see a question, what's the difference between while loop and do while loop? While loop may not execute at all if the condition is false from beginning. And while loop also means we check the condition first before we execute. Do while always guarantee that the statement will execute at least once, because we always check, we always execute the statement before we check a condition. Other than that, they are all the same idea, the same concept. So this is the pseudocode. The keyword is do. So you have to write a statement first, do the set, execute once, then you come and check your while condition. If the condition is true, you keep executing. When the condition is false, you come out of the while loop, the do while loop. So again, do while loop and while loop, the purpose is the same, the concept, everything the same. The difference, main difference is that with do while loop, you execute your statement before you check the condition. While loop, you check the condition before you execute your statement. So next we go to, so again, because of that, we don't have much examples on do while loop, but again, hopefully future programs, Java, you may come across it. But again, they are all the same. While loop and do while is the same. When you write it, again, just you should remember that the statement comes first before the condition. So next is the for loops. With for loops, again, is the same as while loop. The difference here is that for loop, we never use Sentinel value. So which means you only use for loop when you know how many times the loop will execute. If you remember, this is the program that we saw in the beginning, printing something on the screen, welcome to Java 100 times. I use the while loop. I initialize the counter. Then I say while I is less than 100, print this statement. Then I write I++ at the end. But now with for loop, it's more simple. You write all your three statements in one line with the parentheses open and close. Make sure there's a semicolon and space between the three statements here or expressions. So for example, I declare the counter outside. You can also declare the counter inside. I can say int I equal to 0. So I equal to 0 means we want to start from 0. The next we are checking is 0 less than 100. We do something. It's true, so we do something. Here we print welcome to Java. Then we increment the counter to 1. Then we check the condition again. Is 1 less than 100? Yes. Print welcome to Java. Increment the counter to 2, 3, etc. Always I like using, most programmers like using for loop if you know how many times the loop will execute, if it's a counter control loop. We use while loop or do while loop if we are using a Sentinel values, will be more better. So let's see the trace for the loop here. Again, here we declare our counter variable. We start from 0. We check the condition, is 0 less than 2? Yes, it's true. Okay, if it's true, then let's print welcome to Java. That's what we want to do. Then we're going to increment the counter to 1. Now we check again, is 1 less than 2? Yes. Okay, let's print welcome to Java again. We increment the counter to 2 now. We check the condition, oh sorry, I went too far. We check the condition, is 2 less than 2? No, that's false, so we come out of the for loop. So with the while loop again, we should be very careful with the initialization. For example, if I want to print something 100 times and I start from 1 and I say less than 100, that means it will give me only 99. So if I start from 1, then I should say less than or equal to 100 so that I will include 100, then I'll get 100. So here we say that the initial action in a for loop can be a list of 0 or more comma separated expressions. Now, the action after each iteration in a for loop can be a list of 0 or more comma separated statements. Therefore, the following two for loops are correct, but we normally don't use this. This is too, I mean, it's okay. For example, I start from 1, which means I'm going up to 99. But when I'm go up to 99, I will say I plus plus, then I'll close it. Then I'll say system.out.println I, which means in this for loop, I want to print numbers from 1 to 99. When you write it like this, it's okay because you have I plus plus inside the for loop already. But you put the system.out, because this is just printing the counter from 1 to 99. But we barely use this. The best way I will do this is I will say int I equal to 1, I is less than 100, then I plus plus, then I'll close the parentheses, then I'll come outside, then I'll write system.out.println I in the parentheses. So I'm going to print it. It's the same as what we have here. We have I plus plus, then I say system.out.println welcome to Java. I can't do this here because it's not the I plus plus that I'm printing. And here also, for example, we say I equal to 0. We have 2 counters here, j equal to 0. And our condition is we want to add I plus j less than 10. Then we increment. But again, this is okay. But if it's somebody, since you have 2 counters, we can use 2 for loops. We use the for loop for I, we use the for loop for j. But this also will work. As we said, we said they are rarely used in practice, but they are correct. The 2 for loops are correct. And we'll see more examples again, especially if you take Java class. Now, if you have this statement here, you see we don't have any condition. This is called the infinity for loop. It will just execute forever. So you will say that if the loop continuation condition in the for loop is omitted, it is implicitly true. It's always true. The condition here is always true. Thus, the statement is given below in A, which is an infinity loop. The loop will keep executing forever. It's the same as writing while loop. Now, when you write while, because we don't have all the 3 statements in while loop, we have to specify whether it's true. So while true means always is going to be true. So we're going to end somewhere here. It's almost our time to leave now, but let's make sure we review the final exams and the final project. Close all this. Okay, we almost finished, so that's it. And I'm going to post these slides in the classroom. Actually, I have this. I have the video of this already. So first, let me turn off the camera. I may post this also.